Came from my father's biobag.
Glorious! No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend.
Now we move on to British politics. So, British politics has been...
Oh my God. Why? Just why?
Annoying. So, when Theresa Ethelbert St John May, citation needed on middle names, came to power via democratic... wait a minute. Via referendum for the UK leaving the EU, apparently.
No, by some other pussy leaving.
Yes. By old Davy Pigfucker. Old Davy PF saying,
No citation needed on that.
No. Going, you didn't vote how I thought you were going to vote. I'm not going to bother anymore.
Tatty bye-bye.
Yeah. See you guys. Turns out, as the leader of the right-wing party, you are too right-wing for me. Bye-bye. And Theresa May came in and she was questioned a lot about, okay, so are you going to try and hold a general election then to, kind of validate yourself and make sure, you got a power? No, there will be no snap elections. It would ruin the stability of the nation as it is at the moment.
Yeah. The country has made a decision, and I am here to make sure that we carry out the will of the people.
Until last week, when Treasy Measy went, by the way, going to be an election. Because the country needs stability.
Yeah.
Which will be brought about by the snap election, which is happening in a month.
It was like literally a snap election as well. She'd made a statement, or somebody in her office had made a statement and told the press there will be an announcement at 11:15. And so the press turned up at Downing Street with a little podium outside, and they were like, going live back to the studio. So, Steve, I'm out here at the Downing Street, and I can tell you there's a podium. And what can you tell me about what's going on the scene there? Well, I can tell you that I don't know anything. And I'm here with somebody from the cabinet, and what do you know, Mr. Cabinet Man? Oh, I don't know anything either. So nobody knew anything, and they were just like batting it back and forth.
It was essentially rolling 24-hour news, just going, so...
Yeah. Is it this?
It could be.
This?
She might be stepping down, or she might be announcing some new ministerial positions.
She could be declaring war. She could be announcing her juggling portfolio. God knows, nobody knew.
She might just come out and go, everybody, look at this bra. Marks and Spencer's. Comfort and lifting. And then just walk back into number 10. Theresa May have sagging bosoms? Theresa May not? I don't know. She does. Look at her. She's ancient. But she's got lovely legs, as the Daily Mail likes to point out.
Really?
Not my opinion.
Does she?
Is
this because of the leather pants thing?
That, and like in that way, like, good on her for being that brave, but no. But it was that like the headlines in the Daily Mail comparing the legs of Nicola Sturgeon and Theresa May. Because
we've come so far as a country.
Yeah.
Where we're discussing the physical attributes of our female political leaders.
Behold, 2 female political leaders, one of Scotland, one of the entire United Kingdom. Haven't they got nice legs? Ooh, flash 'em, girls. That's where we are as a nation. And that's also why Theresa May won't push the button. Because she
doesn't have the...
She couldn't do it with her lovely pins.
Oh, right.
You can't do that with pins.
It takes what? Like strong, manly legs to be able to push a button.
Yeah. She is too fine and delicate a wafy leg. Nice, but so wafy.
Slender of calf.
Yeah, indeed.
I think we've gotten off topic slightly. No, we haven't.
It's almost like we meander away from things.
We haven't yet.
So, yeah, she declared a snap election, despite the fact that she said that she would ride it out until 2020. Wait.
Of course she would. Looks like she could.
So it's been 2 years since the last vote to re-elect David Cameron on his own this time without the, like, you get to see what the
Without the
calming
yes, sir.
influence of Nick Clegg was. Without, he was like, no, David, don't do the stupid things.
David,
Try and
we can't do that because the voters wouldn't let us.
reel it in, David. Dave, reel it in. Come on now.
Reel it in, put it back in your pants. Take it out of the pig's mouth, put it back in your pants.
And my personal opinion is this is quite clearly done because if you look out at the political landscape here and abroad, everything is now just a big old clusterfuck, and nobody knows who to vote for anymore except for old people, and that is conservative bread and butter. Like, that is all they need. They live and die on that 50 plus vote because they know that that is their natural power base.
So do you think that's why she's called the election?
Yeah, because if you look at their UKIP have accomplished their goal. They don't have the unfortunately charismatic to some Nigel Farage. So UKIP aren't really going to be Nigel Farage taking away conservative votes because he's essentially gone, job done, we're getting out of Europe. I don't need to bother anymore.
Yeah, he's getting out of Europe all the way to America.
You've got a Liverpudlian who now leads UKIP, and a Liverpudlian politician is not going to sell anywhere other than Liverpool, really, as being someone who you want to lead a country.
You barely want him to lead Liverpool.
Yeah, the BNP hasn't been a political power in years now. UKIP overtook it. So essentially your right wing is the Conservatives, and that's it. Whereas on the left wing, using left wing to...
On the other side to the Conservatives.
Yeah, left wing. So you've got the Liberals, the Liberal Democrats, who seem to be getting more popular again under Tim Farron. But even he is experiencing some issues.
Well, he was in the news this week stating that he doesn't think it's a sin for men to have sex with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that you have to appear in the news to say that
Yeah, he has...
probably means he has said something contrary in the past.
Yeah, it's weird because we, unlike America, we tend not to get religion and politics mixed up together. And yet when it feels like it, the press will eagerly guzzle up any possible crossing over of religion and politics to say, oh, well, this guy doesn't seem to have very Christian values, should he really be leading the country? Which is just that's media tone.
All press talk in this country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I had to give it that job in the newspaper. You just can't understand them after a point. And then you've got the Green Party, who are kind of the up-and-coming young kids with...
They are there.
They've gained a lot of ground since I first heard about them when I was in university.
Yeah, they've got MPs now.
Yeah, 11 years ago. They've come on leaps and bounds. And they are arguably the most left-wing party. They're probably going to get in. And then you've got Labour, which is just kind of all over the place at the minute. And it's not... Jeremy Corbyn is leading as he thinks it should be led, but his problem is he has a lot of people within his shadow cabinet who are... right. So you've got Old Labour, which was the working man's party, and then you had New Labour, which was the middle-class people's party. The people he has in his backbench are New Labour, but which is Old Labour now. But it's not old Labour, it's just Old Labour. Which makes sense, if you think about it. But not too much, because it will hurt.
It does eventually, yeah. Don't put too much thought into it.
So people who came in under Tony Blair, and people who essentially work for the middle class, and that's not who Jeremy Corbyn necessarily is trying to appeal to.
No.
But the working class vote has now been so thrown away from Labour, it went to UKIP and minorly to the Conservative Party. So if they go back to trying to get that working class vote, it's going to be a lot harder for them.
So, yeah, a lot of the Tory kind of condemnation of Corbyn is that he has a split party. That there's so much dissent going on in his party, and he doesn't seem like a strong leader. And you're right about the working class vote, because today was the last PMQs before they go on holiday and
It's
they
like,
start campaigning.
for those who don't know, PMQs is like PMS, but a lot more childish. PMQ stands for Prime Minister's Questions, where the Leader of the Opposition gets to put forward 5 questions to the Prime Minister that he sees fit, or that they see fit. Not that Labour have come anywhere close to really having a proper female leader that they actually voted in.
No, not really.
Harriet Harman was briefly,
close.
but she was kind of caretaker manager.
Caretaker manager.
She was just like, she was what Theresa May is, essentially.
So yeah, it's when the Prime Minister goes in front of the House of MPs. The one that gets asked every week is, "What are you doing today?"
How big are your tits? Is that a Marks and Spencer's bra?
No, it's not. It's like, "What are you doing today?" And it's always, "After I finish with my colleagues in the House, I will have other meetings for this afternoon and some further ones this evening." I'm like, okay, cool. So you've got meetings. Thanks for that. Unless it's something really important, like sometimes it'll be like, "Yeah, I'm going to go see the Queen."
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah,
Have you got to do that, Jeremy?
You wouldn't want to see the Queen, would you? Because you're anti-royalist. Well, anyway, so yeah, the Jeremy Corbyn, the Leader of Opposition, gets to pose some questions to the Leader of the Government, and then other members of the House, if they've spoken to the Speaker first, will ask some questions and get answers. One of the major times when the working of government is publicly broadcast to the public.
There's the actual Parliament channel,
It's just
which
on
runs
24/7.
24/7. Well, not 24/7 because Parliament doesn't work like that, but the Parliament channel's there. But this is one that is kind of more focused on main networks, so you'll see it's on the proper BBC, not just on BBC Parliament.
It's seen as more as a more important part of the transparency of government because it's the point where you get the Prime Minister.
The idea is
what are you doing?
Yeah, the idea is that you've kind of got the 5 most important issues, and that is what's going to be raised to be put out to the public at large.
And it's like, it's a chance for the public to say, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and tell us what we want to know.
Yeah, what are you doing?
What's going on, Gov? So why was I talking about PMQs?
What's going on, government?
That's it. We were talking about Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party. Split party, yeah. And this was one of the things that Theresa May kept trying to bring up in today's PMQs was, for a start, she got herself and a load of other of her cronies to say secure and stable, because that's going to be her catchphrase for the election. A secure and stable Britain, or something like it.
Secure and stable.
And they mentioned about how they were going to quote they were now the working class party, because they want people to work so that they can pay taxes.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to fuck the working class, but...
Oh, yeah, no, but they know that's basically what's going to happen. They'll be like, hey, working class, we're here for you. Bend over and lube up, because it's time for you to take a right jolly good rogering. You're my fag now. Which is not...
It's not. That is not a gay slur.
It's
a term used in boarding schools.
Which is ironic, because they're all from boarding schools.
So yeah, in boarding school, a fag would essentially be the younger boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
David Cameron undoubtedly had several fags. So did Boris Johnson. I'm not sure about Theresa May. I don't know if she went to a boarding school.
Well, she's a bally woman, isn't she?
She's a bally good woman.
I'm surprised she wasn't educated in the kitchen. Well, she bloody should be. I'm like running a country. It's awfully nice of her to think she's doing that.
So you reckon it's because that she's called the election because
she can clearly see that on the left it's disarray, and on the right she
it's
holds
disother
power.
array. On the right is disarray. On the left is disother array. Sorry. Couldn't help myself. So you reckon she's called this election because the left is in, it seems to be such like a mess.
Yeah.
She wants to consolidate her position.
And if you look at it, that's why the leader of the Green Party, Catherine...
It's Bennett, isn't it?
And Bennett?
Gordon?
Alan?
Gordon Bennett!
I was just leading the Green Party.
No!
Oh, it was ever so nice, and I thought I shall relax with a nice cup of cha.
A nice cup of cha down on the...
Next thing I know, Theresa May is calling an election. I thought, oh, this is bothersome. I shall have to get up and do a little bit of housework. Oh.
Well, after I'd finished the housework, of course, I needed a nice cup of tea.
Oh, of course. I mean, 2 sugars, mind, because, I'm sweet, but not sweet.
I had done my chores, of course.
Oh, have you actually found the name of this one?
No.
Because I can't keep up this repartee much longer. It's really it's insufferable at times, isn't it? You know. Oh, and then I thought, hush, tish and fie. I shall go about my business. And Natalie Bennett.
Natalie Bennett. I knew it was a Bennett.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know why I thought
Caroline Lucas. She used to be the.
That's why I thought Catherine.
That's the dude
Caroline
you're
Lucas.
thinking of.
Yeah, the dudette.
Duderino.
I've already forgotten her name. She's so fucking bland and boring.
Natalie Bennett.
Natalie Bennett.
Natalie Bennett.
Essentially called for a union of the left-leaning. Again, I said left-leaning.
The not conservative.
Yeah, the verging on slightly right-wing over to left-wing parties, saying, well, why don't we not contest against each other in areas where we feel we could beat the Conservatives? So essentially, Greens and the Liberals will pull out of areas where they'd get not a lot of votes, but enough that if those votes went to Labour, Labour would win in that particular constituency. And that's a lovely idea. But if they go, I am not voting Labour, and they go elsewhere, what would be my ideal outcome is that you essentially get what Belgium have had for years and get the hung parliament, whereby
Oh yeah, let's have one of them.
a lovely hung
I
parliament.
like a well hung parliament.
Oh yeah, lovely and hung.
Like balanced on both sides.
You know, get it where essentially those three parties could form a government between themselves. And you could even you can include the SNP in that, because SNP will.
They're just going to win Scotland again.
Yeah, there's somewhere between 47 and 50 constituencies in Scotland.
Something like that, yeah.
Which it used to be traditional Labour territory, and that is what helped Labour win.
Yeah.
And this is what is going to help Labour lose as well. The issue you'd obviously had with a conglomerate of 3-4 parties is there would be a lot of possible infighting and disagreement that you'd have to negotiate.
Yeah, true. My immediate interpretation of the calling of a snap election was a little bit different.
Okay.
And my immediate reaction was that she's doing a Cameron.
As in she wants to...
Not be in charge.
Oh.
She campaigned against Brexit.
Yeah.
David Cameron campaigned against Brexit as well, but when the result didn't go his way, he left.
Yeah.
Theresa May has been put in this unfortunate position where she has to do something that she doesn't believe in.
Yeah.
And she's got to a point now, whatever it is, 8-10 months down the line, and gone, I can't do this anymore.
I can't do this anymore. It's so fucking stupid.
Or maybe it was her plan all along.
Yeah.
Was that if she was forced to become the leader of the party, she would come up with a way to get out of it.
Yeah.
And by calling an election, she's given the opportunity for people to say, well, actually, we don't want you in charge anymore. Although she's not saying she won't run.
Yeah.
So that kind of throws the spanner in that works. The other thing is that at the moment, she has a majority, apparently, in the polls.
Yeah, they're saying...
Although,
we all know that means nothing these days.
Means nothing, really.
But the idea is that they're winning like by huge margin, essentially.
About 45 to 27.
Yeah, it's a pretty massive margin, which would give her a majority government.
No, I think that I mean that was my first immediate reaction, but I think I think it is wrong. I think she is trying to consolidate her position.
Yeah.
I don't think she's trying to unite the country, which is what she keeps on saying.
No, absolutely not.
I think what she's trying to do is make it look like she's more legitimately in charge and therefore able to lead the Brexit campaign.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, it's her position. It's not tenuous, but it's just not. It's not as strong as an elected official.
Yeah.
Like she was elected to become a member of parliament, and then she became the leader of the party and therefore the government, but not because of the will of the people, which I think is having that behind you is a really strong negotiation tactic.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're going to have to go to European countries and say, hey, we want to leave because people say we want to leave.
Kind of.
But that's it. They have the majority. That's what you were talking about there with the
exactly
first past post.
You get the most amount of people that show up voting. The onus is on the people that didn't vote. I am one of those people that say, well, it's fair enough you didn't vote, but please don't complain about the outcome because you've given no input into this election, you're not voting is it's tantamount to voting for the people that won because you've helped them win by not voting for somebody else.
Yeah. If you didn't like it, you didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And you could.
Even if you go to the ballot and you spoil your ballot, that is fair enough. You're still taking part in the democratic process. I mean, you don't have to. I have no issue with people who don't vote, other than I just really don't want you to moan about it. Because unless you're putting forward another alternative, which in this country is only going to come about by election, so being voted in, or military power, which the island is too small to build up any kind of military base, which wouldn't be immediately noticed by a government, you're not putting forward an alternative by which you would want your voice to be heard. So,
I agree with you on principle about the idea of somebody going and spoiling their ballot. That, unfortunately, is not engaging in the democratic process, though. That is the same as not voting.
It is.
Because the outcome is the same.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get that you're saying that you disagree with all of the choices. That's a legitimate thing to say. And the fact that you're saying it is different to somebody not saying anything at all. I agree with that. However, it is a purely symbolic gesture, and it doesn't actually involve you in the process. Until the number of people who do that is taken into account, that doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
So that in itself would be a better form of
proportional representation.
Proper coffee pot. Proportional representation.
Yeah.
So if that was the case, I would totally agree. I would say, go for it. Go and spoil your ballot. Go and just write a big jizzy cock all over it and just hand it in.
Big Al, Jizzy Willy.
Because really, what are we all voting for?
Yeah.
If not a big jizzy cock.
Or a reeking arsehole.
What other kind is there?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. If that was the kind of... If that was taken into account on the voting... But the thing is, maybe that would only be taken into account if enough people did it.
So what it should be then, what my ideal for that would be is that there'd be a percentage threshold of votes cast. So if you got to 5% of votes cast were spoiled ballots, you'd have to recast all votes.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that would be fine.
That would spoil the result of the vote, and then you'd have to recast all ballots.
How, because I know how I feel about it, how would you feel if, say, at some point it was instituted, like Australia, where it was mandatory to vote?
I would agree with that as long as it became easier to vote. You'd have to remove restrictions to voting.
Voting isn't hard now, though.
It is not difficult for you or I. It's difficult if you are elderly and you don't have any form of ID. It's difficult if you're homeless. It's difficult if you're an immigrant.
Oh, yeah. Now, in terms of elderly, though, that is why even I got a postal vote, because that is just the easiest way of doing it. Oh, yeah, I can appreciate where you're coming from. That
there are still members of society who don't have access to it. I mean, in this country...
There are the unrepresented.
In this country, the barriers to voting are much lower than they are in some other countries.
Oh, yeah. But they do.
But they do still exist.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're going to have a mandatory voting, then you have to have... Firstly, you have to have a way of knowing who your voter base is, so who the electorate are. And secondly, it needs to be really easy to vote.
See, I would go against the idea of a mandatory vote, because in that way you kind of... Although I complain about people not voting, I would demand their right not to vote based on democracy, having the choice to say, no, I do not wish to partake in this.
Well, in that case,
and the outcome...
Big juicy cock.
Big juicy cock. Like you say, the issue is accessibility and the unrepresented who speaks for them. I would also ask, how would you feel about the lowering, because at the minute the voting age is 18, how would you feel if it lowered to 16? Do you believe a 16-year-old is in a position where they can make an informed choice on who they want to lead them up until they are the age of 21?
I don't believe that many people are in a position to make an informed choice no matter what their age is.
That's exactly the same thing as I was going to say.
Your ability to make an informed choice is influenced by your ability to find information.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting your
Not
faith.
even necessarily the ability to find, but also the willingness to find as well.
Yeah, you're putting your at the end of the day, you're putting your faith in somebody who you may never have met, and whose only interaction with whom your only interaction is through flyers or through scripted TV appearances or anything like that. You don't have any.
It is marketing.
There's no
politics
way to get,
is marketing.
Politics is marketing.
You are essentially
There's
saying,
no way to have faith in that person.
yeah, which shiny thing do I want to run my life? Which one is giving me? That is essentially how politics, and it's been that way in American politics since Kennedy and Nixon.
Yeah.
And we've got it more over here where it is literally, right, which of these say the most buzzwords that I want to hear?
Yeah.
Which of these people look the best? Which of these people reflect what I want to see?
Look at my big shiny face.
And saying that, Theresa May will, at the moment, will not take part in the televised leader debates.
She will do televised appearances, but not against other opponents.
But I'm sure David Cameron did that last time and then kowtowed because they left an empty stand and then he came to the next one. Unless
whoever they are, the media, they would do the same thing. They'd empty chair whoever didn't turn.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because if it's on the BBC, they'd have to give the chair at equal time. So they'd just be, and the question goes to Theresa May's empty chair. You have 2 minutes to answer, and then just 2 minutes of it. It'd basically be an IKEA commercial.
Yeah, 2 minutes of David Dimbleby just going.
At least you know that the chair probably wouldn't overrun. Wouldn't get heckled.
Yeah, it's not going to swear.
Not going to swear. Not going to start launching itself at somebody else. Yeah, it might be used as a weapon, but never as an aggressor.
You're swaying me towards voting for a chair for Prime Minister.
Clint Eastwood tried it first, I think. When he was talking to that chair in one of the elections, wasn't he?
Clint fucking Eastwood. Yeah.
He's a guy.
What a moron. Yeah.
So, how are you feeling about the election then? You feeling optimistic and upbeat?
At the moment, no, for the reasons that I mentioned, that what the Conservatives are banking on is guaranteed old people vote, pretty much guaranteed young voter apathy.
Yeah. The
needs...
other thing that they're counting on is that the SNP will win Scotland and take all those votes from Labour.
Exactly.
So they're not only that they are in a strong position, but that their opponents are in a weaker position.
Yeah, because the SNP can flirt with whoever they want to, essentially.
Despite the fact that Tories have said, no coalition.
Yeah.
And that's a no coalition from me.
The only way anything would change would be if somehow younger people could be more encouraged to vote. And we both work with people younger than us.
Yeah.
Have you queried any of the younger people as to whether they'd vote in your household?
I have not been at work since it was announced.
That's a good point. I have. And the amount of people that say, it's registering. Oh, well...
It's a text message. Just get on your freaking phone.
I know. I just said to him, register for a postal vote. You don't have to leave the house.
You can do it you can do it naked. Vote naked. Oh man, that's a great campaign. Just for voting. Vote naked.
If you're a lady on, just put the pen in a hole and just see if you can make the tick.
Make the tick in the box using your most sensitive areas.
Oh, wait, what?
Pro-voting tip.
Oh, I just have... Oh.
Pro-voting tip.
Oh.
Dip it in ink and then just use that.
Yeah. Do it in blood.
No.
If you really want to spoil your ballot.
Ladies, you know what to do.
Yeah. Ladies, if it's that time, just...
If it's not, the ballot will arrive.
Just squat and dab. Squat and dab.
Like that you're doing the action as well.
Yeah. And I don't mean the dance move, the dab.
Yeah, no.
No, don't do that.
He means daub the paper with your...
Daub the paper with your menses.
with whatever you have to hand.
Or to vagina, whichever you prefer.
With vagina.
What was I going to say? Oh, right, yeah.
The election. Kids not
and
going.
the amount of... Well, you say kids, obviously. It's 18 at the minute. And going back to the 16-18 thing, I find our rules very weird where at 16... you can legally start having sex with each other and procreating. But...
Does that mean you could be in a porno?
No. This is the thing.
Oh, no, you can't record it until you're 18.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what changes between those two? But you can't start learning to drive properly until you're 17.
Yeah.
And when you're 8, also when you're 16, you can go off and you can die for your country. You can sign up to be in the army.
You can sign up to be in the army.
But you also can't get a knife in a supermarket until you're 18.
Yeah.
You can't play the lottery until you're 18. You can't smoke until you're 18. You can't legally watch a video of people having sex, which you have been able to do already, for another 2 years afterwards.
Does that mean that when you turn 16, you wouldn't be able to find an instructional video?
Legally, you shouldn't be. You couldn't purchase one anyway.
You couldn't purchase one. And you couldn't
And you also can't play Grand Theft Auto.
You couldn't enter certain websites on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless, for some reason you decided you could just click the other button that says yes.
I've got 2 options here. Am I 18? Well, I'm not, so I'd better click no.
Because all 16-year-olds are very... I know when I was 16, I was very truthful about that kind of thing.
Honest and upstanding.
Well, upstanding at least.
Oh! And flipping back to my point as to the hypocrisy of the voting age and various ages of consent, the amount of younger people, we're talking, 21-ish, and man, it feels bad that that's young to me now. The amount of those people that will essentially say, oh, why bother? It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't matter. They don't realise politics is everything.
Yeah,
like
literally
your
everything.
wage is in place because of politics. The prices that you're paying at a supermarket, that is in place because of politics. Mm-hmm. The reason that your grandma is slowly dying because she can't get NHS treatment, that is because of politics. The reason that you can't vote at 16 but you can at 18 but you can start having sex at 16 and
you can't drive to your girlfriend's house at 16.
Yeah, that's because of politics. Politics does affect you. Politics affects everything because it governs everything. The only way anything changes is because of politics. And if you don't have somebody there who you feel has the same mindset as you will not get the outcome that you want because you don't have someone there who represents you. This is why young people need to vote and not be so apathetic, because it is far more important than they give it credence for. And I feel more important than old people give it credence for, because they do it because it's kind of been instilled in them. That's what they do. There's an election, I'm going to vote. And I'm going to vote Tory. There we go. And a lot of universities back in the 80s under Thatcher and the right-wing regime, universities were the hotbed of left-wing thought. And then coming out of that into the new Labour era with Tony Blair making universities far more accessible but also chargeable, it started making them less left-wing because more people were there and it mixed political ideas. And because of that, it became far less politicised in university, which is what has led to it being great for the Conservative Party, because there is no direction to go, right, think outside the box. Don't think of exactly what you're being told. Think what you want to think and vote accordingly. Now, universities are becoming essentially upper schools where you're just learning by rote to do exams to get another qualification, which might help in the future. I know people who have a first who are thick. Like, they're really good at one thing, but in everything else they're clueless. And when it comes to something like politics, it will be beyond them because they've not had that instigation of thought at any point in their life, which is what university used to do. But that's my rant over.
So that's your rant about. So that went from politics to university and back again.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, right.
If I could say one thing to everybody, probably under the age of 30, because I feel that's where there is a lot of apathy, you need to vote. You can't sit back and twiddle your thumbs. If you do, you are tantamount. You are essentially to be considered responsible for what will inevitably happen with 5 more years of Tory rule, which will be the NHS will, if not die, it will be dying. And the growth of the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Even Theresa May has said essentially she wants to make Britain a haven for businesses, which means it's going to be brilliant for rich people. That's not the way it should be. We should be striving towards equality, not further separation. I mean, yeah, maybe more people will get jobs and more tax will be put into the economy, but that will just make the rich richer and the poor will remain where they are. There will be social mobility for none, which is, of course, just entirely my opinion. Oh, maybe I'm just being a big old fool. But yeah, that's my tuppence. That's also my opinion as well.
Put it away.
Yeah. Weird, isn't it? Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that shape. Oh, colour.
Rusty brown.
You sure that's you? Never mind. I don't want to talk about the election anymore.
No.
No, I'm getting bored of it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about something else?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the biobag.
The biobag?
Have you seen this?
I have not.
Okay, it's completely weird,
Okay.
but it's fantastic. It's like, you know, the Ziploc freezer bags.
Yes.
So scientists have developed this biobag. It's an artificial womb that looks like a
Is that
Ziploc
what
freezer
the
pack,
lamb was in?
which you can grow lambs in.
Oh, and is that from actual inception, or is it kind of...
So no, you still need a daddy sheep and a mummy sheep to like each other very much.
Yes.
And you still need the mummy sheep to carry for a little while.
Yeah.
But the idea is that once you come to a certain point during gestation, pregnancy, that you can remove the embryo from the mother's womb and like carry on the gestation in an external womb, which has all of the blood and nutrients and oxygen and all that kind of thing that you need going into and out of it.
Okay.
And it's sealed and it's warm. And the reasons, here we go, to avoid birth complications.
Yeah.
In cases of premature birth.
Yeah.
So you can
essentially keep them in
them in a womb.
Keep them in utero.
outside of a human, so they can develop a little bit longer and further. And they've had some successful tests of growing lambs in these. They look like vacuum packed freezer bags. It's really weird, isn't it? But
I saw a picture
that. I was
of
like,
it.
that's cool.
It is very cool. The only negative that I can see with it is when a baby is born, the mother's hormones will naturally, prior to that, the mother's hormones will start creating milk in the breast. And the idea is that they'll look to get the baby onto the breast as soon as possible, because there is essentially, in that first lot that it will take into it, there are a lot of other nutrients and antibodies and whatever which are proven to help kickstart the immune system. Nothing about what this could be used for is really negative. The only one that I can think of is that because the mother, those things which can prevent complications further down the line when they're 2, 3, 4, 5, that baby won't be able to get, because the mother's body will either naturally expel it or will get rid of it. However, the fact that you can do that, and essentially if there's a baby that's being born at 22 weeks where essentially it's not going to live, it's not going to make it, and you can put that back into a state where it can continue to grow and be safe, then that is brilliant. Yeah, that is pretty much the only negative that I could think of. However, at the minute it is obviously just being tested with sheep.
Being tested with sheep, but the scientists are confident that it's going to evolve into like a useful medical tool for human use as well, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And also terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it's essentially the Matrix.
The Matrix,
yeah.
Right? Now, this is where I'm going with this, because 2017 is a year of many movie dystopias.
Yeah.
Often there has been, say, a nuclear war or a mass genocide event or some totalitarian government has taken over, which I don't see any parallels with today's world. But consider, for example, that films like... I've got a few written down here.
You gods, examples.
Gods, I have examples. Barbed Wire, do you know that movie?
Don't Call Me Babe.
Don't Call Me Babe. Starring Pamela Anderson's breasts.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that's all I can remember from that. And she worked at a bar.
It's set in the during the Second American Civil War in the year 2017.
Wow.
I know, right? There's another one called Fortress, which looked a bit shit, but also Running Man is set in 2017, which means Why are we not all walking around in bike leathers and lycra outfits?
Do you not wear them?
I mean, obviously, but I meant all. Why don't everybody do that? I mean, this is the year.
Let's face it, there are a lot of people out there wearing lycra right now.
This is true, yeah.
It's mainly on their lower half, and I'm okay with it. But
half the time I'm alright with it.
Yeah.
Half the time I'm not.
Maybe this is what we're just evolving towards Running Man.
Maybe this is it. Like, when these things were made in like the 90s, they're like, 20 years in the future, the Running Man will be a thing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so close. I can taste it.
Yeah.
These, like, Arnie movies where they've got, like, video calling monitors in the walls.
Yeah.
And like, well, you don't need it in the wall because it's in your phone.
Yep.
FaceTime, bitches.
Yep. You can do it while you poop.
Are we living in a dystopian future?
Maybe. I'm still waiting for the 3 shells. I'm still waiting.
So sly.
Yeah.
He's like, how do I... I mean, I've only got 2 hands. You put this head on me. I thought we were going to have sex. Which I feel like is the appropriate response. I feel like they didn't show Sandra Bullock the script. And he was like, I thought we were going to fuck. She's like, ew, no. And they were just like, perfect. Got it in one.
Nailed
it. So yeah, there you go. That's my theory. Is we're living in a dystopian future. We're just waiting for the cataclysm.
We're actually waiting for the dystopia to
We're waiting for the cataclysmic event to occur. So like the food riots can happen in California, nuclear winter.
Nuclear winter. Say dwarf.
Dwarf.
I was really expecting you to say dwarf.
English is weird, you're right.
See, go back to the listen again. See, English is hard, isn't it?
English is weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just waiting for the cataclysm. Waiting for the world-ending event. And then we can all move to Australia. Oh wait, no.
Drive around.
They won't take out immigrants. No, we can all move to well, think of dystopias. We missed a few though, didn't we? We missed 1984.
Yep.
Thank fuck.
2012 just went right out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't really a dystopia. That was just meant to be it.
End of the world. But really, just end of the calendar.
Yeah.
There was a great sci-fi TV series in the late 70s and early 80s called Space 1999.
Yeah,
do you remember this? Where
I do.
People would live on the moon. Again, wearing onesies. And why is it with onesies in the future?
Thing is, onesies technically did come back, and they're still here.
Yeah, for the twos.
No, there's big person onesies. They're not as prevalent as they were, but I mean, if you look at it, you know, we've got a lot of lycra, we've got onesies.
Yeah,
it's just been more of a slow crawl.
So you're saying we're a couple of years away from Logan's Run? Just like onesies with shoulder pads.
Yeah, that say, oh, you're getting near 40, time to die.
Oh shit.
oh, hecky thump.
Oh, hecky thump.
Oh, it was at that point I realised my death was imminent, and I thought, oh, I shall have to get another cup of tea.
Thanks,
Al.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Al. So yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah.
When I saw the biobag, I was like, that's a bit Matrixy, and then I was like, hang on, I'm pretty sure.
The only negative I can think of it is when an Australian says it, it's going to be biobag, and it's going to sound a little bit like ball bag. Oh, look at my biobag. Your what? My biobag.
I grew up in one of them.
Came from my father's biobag. We all did.
We all came from your father's biobag. Interesting one.
And on that testicular note, we will wish you goodbye.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
We will. We won't see you. You'll hear us anon.
Yeah.
You know, watch out. There's Teresa's about.
Teresa, don't forget to vote.
Yes, vote. Please vote.
Do vote.
If you want to come to me and talk about politics, I will try not to put my horrible left-wing slant on things. I can't guarantee it, but I will try and give you an even-handed representation if you've not already got it from this, which I don't think you have. Because, I went on a tirade.
I did a little bit. I was a little bit scared for a second. It's not like I left the room because I was scared. It's just, you may have wondered why I was quiet for so long.
Yeah, you left the room. You didn't write the room, did you?
I see what you... socialism.
Yes.
Yeah. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye for now.
Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend,
Uh,